slow. Salute Band-Aid gang. Seems like everything is working in our favor now. It seems like everything is working in our favor now. Everything is starting to go in reverse. Everything is going in reverse. Please hit the like button, spam the like button. Let's keep this video in the algorithms. Yes, yes, everybody has heard the news. Poor thing. Poor Kristi Noem. Get in here. Kristi! Kristi, no! Kristi, no! See, Kristi, you should have answered them questions. Kristi, no! Kristi, no! But y'all see how it's all going in reverse right now? Hit my like button. Everything I said is all going in reverse right now, gang. So you know it's working its way up, because what it started with was this. Hit that like button. And make sure you double tap my screen.
Good and Alex Preddy. Just moments ago, the president saying he's naming Oklahoma Senator Markwayne Mullin to become the next Secretary of Homeland Security. Let's get straight to our chief White House correspondent, Mary Bruce. Mary, what do we know?
Well, Kira, the president just announcing this in a social media post that Markwayne Mullin is going to become the new Secretary of the Department of Homeland Security. As
fired! She is fired! Get out of here!
You know, had grown increasingly frustrated with Secretary Noem this following several days of her testimony up on the Hill. The president posting the current Secretary, Kristi Noem, who has served us well and has had numerous and spectacular results, especially on the border, will be moving to be special.
Where has she had spectacular results? I don't see any spectacular results. No. When you make spectacular results, then you keep spectacular results. Stop lying to us. I've been lying all the time.
Envoy for the Shield of the Americas, our new security initiative in the Western Hemisphere. It also comes, of course, as you note, that she received a lot of backlash after her response to the killings of two American citizens, Renee Good and Alex Preddy.
Breaking news.
She, of course, was very quick to come out and label them domestic terrorists. She falsely said that Preddy was brandishing a gun. It created quite a controversy for the administration. Then, of course, the president moved in.
Y'all see what you see what happened? Do you see what happened? How they had done did Preddy? See, if they didn't do Alex like that, right? So that means if it started with her, it's gonna work its way down to who? Pam Bundy. Pam Bundy, you next on the chopping block. Bill Gates, you next on the chopping block. Howard Lutnick, you next on the chopping block. See how it's going in reverse? Because it all started with this case, gang. You see how these feds know what they doing? You see how these feds know what they doing? It's all about to go in reverse. See, she opened up the door. See, when she got fired, now everybody about to get fired. We want to see you now. Report your ass to the principal's office. It's all going in reverse.
Tom Homan, his border czar, to take over the
Watch
situation
how we
in
work.
Minneapolis. But Kira, the big picture here.
That man right there? See how y'all had done that man right there? And you went up there and said this man was a terrorist? She said this man was a terrorist, gang. And they knew it. What y'all see about the break right open? Double tap my screen. Y'all get in here. What's up, George? What's up, my boss? I see you. Y'all get up in here. You see how it all going reverse? No, we ain't trying to hear all the trolls, the robot. This ain't the robot channel. Want to come in and work for Trump. It ain't working, Trump, because we going to see you on the chopping block. Did I mention that? Oh, I must have left that part out. See, what you're going to do, see, now she's fired. So they going to work their way down. Don't forget about Kash Patel. Yeah, Kash Patel going to have to report to the... It's going to all go down, y'all. Let's go.
It is important to remember that this is now the first major firing that we have seen in the
major
president's second term. To fire Kristi Noem, move her away from being the DHS secretary to this new post at the end of this month. Unlike in his first term, where there was quite a bit of turnover in the cabinet, she is now the first cabinet secretary.
See, they don't want to hear that, gang.
By President Trump.
Let's bring in our Chief Justice Correspondent, Pierre Thomas. Pierre, as we get this news now, let's just talk about how DHS changed under Kristi Noem's leadership. And it didn't take long for her to receive a lot of heat from critics once she did take that position.
Indeed, Kira. And there was a key moment this week at that Senate hearing. This over $200 million ad campaign.
She's out of here, y'all.
And Senator Kennedy, a Republican, was pressing.
Got 61 in here. Double tap that screen. Let's run these lights up, y'all.
He expressed
Band-Aid
concern
gang.
that it was too much money, and he asked the secretary about it, and she claimed that the president was engaged in this. Now, we just saw from our own reporting from Rachel Scott and others that the president is now claiming that that is not true. And again, this ad campaign stars Kristi Noem, and basically the messages to undocumented people leave now or be deported. And again, $200 million, and you could see these ads during football games, during the
$200 million that she was taking your tax money. Yeah, the money that they say that we always in debt with. $200 million. Bought airplanes for her and her lover to ride on the planes with, gang. Oh, they was low down, wasn't they? Didn't want to talk on Trump payroll, but scared to lose their job. Now they on the chopping block. You see? See, karma is a bitch. Karma is a B. And see, what you did is you messed up. And now, since they put you on they put her on the chopping block first, right? So who would y'all say? Put a one in the chat if you believe. Who y'all would say next? I would say Cash Patel. And then they gonna hit him with Pam Bundy, because Cash Patel, he acted crazy first. Look at God, George. I said, damn. I see you, Jacquel, in there. Y'all get in here. Somebody put Cash Patel. Cash gotta go up next. Let's go, because they done took all our cash. Let's see what they got going on.
All types of major ad buys for this particular campaign, and that appears to have played a key role.
I know, right, Martha, but we want them all solo.
Under Kristi Noem, there were some positives for the administration in terms of
Hey, we want them all solo. Martha, we want them all solo so we can take our time with them. Double tap the screen. We want them all solo so we can take our time with them. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, because tonight we got another one, gang. Oh, yeah, I got an exclusive on... Bill, you got to go. And this ain't talking about the deposition. See, I done lined them up and put them in a clutch. I done got them... I'm about to give them the Flux Deluxe tonight. So make sure you pay attention to my community posts, and make sure you subscribe to my channel. We going in tonight.
border being shut down, but the way that the internal campaign to remove people from this country was executed is apparently played a big role in this as well. As Mary said, Tom Homan taking over after the situation in Minneapolis spiraled out of control.
And let's take it straight now to senior political correspondent Rachel Scott. I know you're en route to the Hill. You've been talking to your sources.
Tell us, Rachel.
What's the word from lawmakers?
What happened, Rachel?
After Pierre just mentioned, of course, the testimony where apparently the president was not happy with how the former secretary performed during testimony.
Yeah, well, Kara, I'm told by multiple sources that President Trump was on the phone calling Republicans, calling allies, asking whether or not he should fire Secretary Kristi Noem. He was pointing out that he was clearly unhappy with that answer that she gave Senator Kennedy.
He should be unhappy. What about Pam Bundy? He should be happy with what Pam Bundy did.
Yesterday. I'm also told that there has been a lot of frustration with how Noem has handled several instances, not just this particular one on the Hill testifying before Congress, but also just a few days ago, it was her decision, along with one of her top advisors, Corey Lewandowski, to ultimately pause and put a hold on TSA PreCheck due to the government shutdown. I'm told by multiple sources that then...
Why is the government shutting down? Why is our government shutting down? Because of them. Why is our government steady keep shutting down? Because of them. Why is the government shutting down? When does your government shut down? When does the government supposed to shut down, gang? Y'all better make it make sense. Hit my like button, double tap that screen. Let's go.
Not only from President Trump, but also top members of his administration expressing concern.
So we're just going to shut down the government.
And ultimately, the president making the decision today to now get Kristi Noem out and completely replace her, Kira.
Completely replace her.
Rachel, let's talk more about
double tap my screen. Is she crying?
Oklahoma, Markwayne Mullin, who now will replace former Secretary Kristi Noem,
and he ain't no good either.
Overseeing DHS. What more do we know about him, and your thoughts on why you think the president made this choice?
In these final hours leading up to this decision, Kira,
hey, Coro, I see you.
I was told that President Trump was working the phone, speaking.
Nurse 59 in the building. My nurse in the building.
Something that the president does, right? He likes to get on the phone with Republicans and allies, and he asks them questions. So he was asked. One of the things he was asking them is, who exactly do they think should serve in this role? Clearly, the president is concerned about one thing, a confirmation battle ahead. Senator Markwayne Mullin is respected up on Capitol Hill by Republican allies. He's someone that many Republicans, including top administration officials, believe could ultimately get through a Senate confirmation battle. Obviously, Republicans do have majority in the Senate right now. On top of that, Senator Mullin is also a firebrand. He is known for having some of these explosive exchanges, even on hearings on Capitol Hill. He is a fierce defender of the president as well. And top administration officials do believe he's someone that will be able to work more closely with the administration and more in line with the administration as compared to some of these recent incidents with Secretary Noem.
They all crooked.
Rachel, thank you. I want to bring in our chief investigative correspondent, Aaron Katersky now. Aaron, you've been covering the Department of Homeland Security, the fight for funding, the outcry that it wasn't getting enough resources to do the missions that Secretary Kristi Noem wanted to execute. Your thoughts?
Kristi Noem's stewardship of the Department of Homeland Security, particularly...
And she still did not want to answer any questions when she was doing her deposition. She wanted to stand strong, stick to stand by Trump's side. She wanted to stay stuck to Trump. The same thing that happened with Pam Bundy is what we're going to see happen to her. Definitely Pam Bundy. Kash Patel, definitely. So we're seeing 1, 2, 3, they all going down the same way she did. Alex Preddy didn't have no empathy for any reason for what this man went through. Lost his life. And this is the same woman that called him a domestic terrorist. So look what happened, gang. It backfired. The Most High don't make no mistakes. Hit that like button.
The immigration uproar in Minneapolis cost the Department of Homeland Security its funding, Kira. There have also been complaints by lawmakers in certain states over the way FEMA has operated and questions about readiness for natural disasters.
Had them people, they didn't caught measles. Them people caught measles.
Into this behemoth agency, but at its core
they put them people back in a facility that they did not need to go back to. Biden shut that facility down because it was contaminated.
Of Kristi Noem had felt that she had become a distraction in that mission, Kira.
She sure did.
A distraction, and she was really crucified by lawmakers when she made comments about domestic terrorists during that whole incident in Minneapolis when the immigration agents moved in, and the death of those two advocates in Minneapolis. Just remind our viewers, Aaron, about that and how the talk really didn't stop once she made that comment, and she was questioned on it from the moment she made it all the way to testimony there on the Hill this week.
And lawmakers grilled her over her immediate characterization of the two, Renee Good and Alex Preddy, who were shot as domestic terrorists, and
there you go.
There was no real investigation.
Y'all hear what he said? They tried to make Alex seem like a domestic terrorist. That's what this gentleman is explaining right now, which we know clearly he wasn't, and watch those officers unalive this man, run off with the weapon. We seen it all in slow motion. So now we're getting justice.
That has ever been made public anyway about how these shootings occurred, so much so that lawmakers pulled funding for the Department of Homeland Security until ICE can reshape its mission. The department is effectively shut down, and it comes at a time when the nation is at war in Iran, and there are real concerns about the threats that
sad days in America,
to
people.
the homeland, and whether Kristi Noem, as the secretary, was up to the job, even though it seemed
Right, they got her out of there right in time.
Ad campaign that really drew the president's ire and became the final straw, Kira.
Yeah, that's a good point. Let's bring in Pierre Thomas on that as well. Pierre, is there a concern now, or is there a sigh of relief that a change is being made when we start talking about the threat environment?
Put a 1 in the chat if it's a sign of relief. If it's a sign of relief to you, please put a 1 in the chat. I would like to see. Put a 1 in the chat. We would like to see if you believe that this is a sign of relief. What up, Trust? I see you. Trust None? I see you. Put a 1 in the chat, gang. Let's go. I want to see what y'all thoughts is about. Put a 1 in your chat if it's a sign of relief. Let's go.
And this ongoing war with Iran, and how there has been concern about issues here at home since those strikes started. And is, Oklahoma Senator Markwayne Mullin up for the task?
Look here, one source I was speaking to earlier this week said that the funding shutdown for DHS came at the absolute worst time. You have an ongoing...
This is breaking news, y'all.
Elevated threat environment that already was challenging. And now this whole notion that because of the immigration challenges created in part by Noem and the leadership at DHS, that the funding would be blocked because of it. It could not come at a worse time. One source also talked about the fact that some of the people protecting former presidents are now working without pay.
Did y'all hear that? Working without pay. They better stretch it. They didn't took enough money.
Firing and the level and the position that Kristi Noem had. We could look back at Mike Waltz, who went from National Security Advisor to ambassador to the UN, and the questions that was being asked: will Kristi Noem somehow remain within the administration? What do you make about the fact that the president has put her into a different position, and what do you think of that position?
Yeah, well, the president isn't getting rid of her entirely, but I think it is important to remember just how critical the issue of the border and immigration is to this president.
So why wouldn't he want to get rid of her entirely? He's not getting rid of her entirely?
He knows this is a
double tap the screen if you just got in here.
Supporters, and it's part of the reason I think the president stood by Kristi Noem for so long. He was very proud.
Name your baby.
That she had done on the border, and in fact, he noted
Trump
in his post today. But it is clear that he grew increasingly frustrated just in the last few weeks. He had still been defending her publicly just a month ago, but
don't come in here spamming, or we will get you up out of here.
The controversies
51 in the building. Double tap the screen.
Her comments over Minneapolis and Minnesota, and the president now moving her to this other position. Kira.
Team, thank you. And our coverage will continue on ABC News Live now and abcnews.com. David Muir will be here with the entire team for World News Tonight. I'm Kira Phillips here in Washington. I'll see you back over on ABC News Live.
Now, everybody, y'all see.
This has been a special report from ABC News.
Does everybody see now the pattern? Do you see the pattern now, everybody? I want you to see the pattern, gang. We see the pattern now, where it all comes tumbling down. Everything is starting to come tumbling down. Let's get to the meat and potatoes. I got some more clips that I want to show y'all. Let's get to the meat and potatoes, because it's all starting to come tumbling down. And I'm so glad to see it happening right now in real time, y'all. Let's get ready to see the new senator in action.
We'll talk about it.
Now he's taking her place.
So we'll talk about it.
Gary? No, the president, I still got to communicate, so we'll talk about it moving forward. But I appreciate it, guys. Yeah, the president and I have already talked. Obviously, the statement went out, but we need to talk with the president. We're going to get on the same page and do what we need to do. Do you want to
make changes at DHS? When did you find out, sir?
A little bit before you guys did.
Do you want the
promise
job?
any changes?
Senator, did you expect this?
Let me, guys, I'll talk to y'all before you go.
Do you want the job, Senator?
Uh-oh. Let's get to it. Let's get to it. Let's get to it, y'all. Double tap
the president, I still got to communicate, so we'll talk about it moving forward. But
let's get to it, y'all. This is breaking news, y'all. Oh yeah, karma is a mug, y'all. Karma. That's what we call it.
People come to us and their
Double tap that
teeth
screen.
are so bad that they all take it out and they can even get brand new teeth. But
This is an ABC News
Breaking
special
news.
report.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Kira Phillips. We're coming on the air because President Trump has just announced that Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem is out of a job. This follows reports that the president was frustrated by her recent testimony on Capitol Hill. Noem under fire from both parties over her job performance and her handling of the immigration crackdown. And that includes her response to the deadly shooting by federal agents of 2 American citizens, Renee Good and Alex Preddy. Just moments ago, the president saying he's naming Oklahoma.
You see what happens? Do you see what happens? All of that because how she treated and claimed that man to be a domestic terrorist. All of that. And karma came back to bite her in her tail.
Senator Mark Wayne Mullen to become the next Secretary of Homeland Security. Let's get straight to our chief White House correspondent, Mary Bruce. Mary, what do we know?
Well, Kira, the president just announcing this in a social media post that Mark Wayne Mullen is going to become the new Secretary of the Department of Homeland Security as of the end of this month. And the president, who, as you note, we know had grown increasingly frustrated with Secretary Noem this following several days of her testimony up on the Hill, the president posting the current secretary, Kristi Noem, who
Let's
is...
hit this one, y'all.
Breaking news into CNN. Kristi Noem is out as the Secretary of the Department of Homeland Security. We have a team of reporters on this. Let's start with Kristen Holmes at the White House. Kristen, it was, what, like 10 minutes ago that you were reporting that her job was in jeopardy, and now it's official.
Oh, it's official.
Yeah, President Trump has announced that he has fired the Department of Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem. This is the first cabinet position that he has fired during. And of course, the only other high-profile ouster we've had like this.
So what's going to happen to what's going to happen to Pam Bondi? What they need to go ahead and resign now instead of going on national TV and getting their draws knocked off. They need to go right now. Hit that like button, y'all. Let's go.
Is when Mike
Stop
Walsh
wasting
served
our
the head
time.
of the National Security Council. He was the National Security Advisor. So President Trump just posted this on Truth Social. He said, I am pleased to announce that the highly respected United States Senator from the great state of Oklahoma, Mark Wayne Mullen, will become the United States Secretary of Homeland Security effective March 31st, 2026. And Boris, just so you know, this is one of the names that we had heard. He was floating in these conversations he was having with lawmakers on Capitol Hill. The current secretary, Kristi Noem, who has served us well and has had numerous and spectacular results, especially on the border, will be moving to be special envoy for the Shield of the Americas, our new security initiative in the Western Hemisphere. We are announcing on Saturday in Doral, Florida. I thank Kristi for her service at Homeland. Again, this is a huge deal for us. This is the first time he is firing a cabinet member. He has been incredibly reluctant this term to fire, to shuffle any of his...
Well, he needs to fire himself. He needs to fire himself. He needs to fire himself, gang. Exactly, gang. Y'all read what Diamond said down there in the chat.
Staff, any of his officials, because of the perception of his first term when he was in office, that it was a revolving door. However, as we reported, we were told that the catalyst for this was essentially this appearance that she made, this hearing in front of the Senate Judiciary Committee, in which she claimed President Trump had signed off on a $200 million ad campaign that featured her asking illegal immigrants to sell.
So you see that? So that means Trump asked her to sign off, already telling. Trump asked her to sign it off. So she didn't throw him under the bus. Y'all hear that? Did you hear that? Tell us Epstein files. Tune in later on today. Tune in later on today. We got Epstein files. Make sure you subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell. I will be posting my thumbnail for that later on this evening. So we will be going on around 8 o'clock. But anyway, Trump signed off for the $200 million. Did I mention that? So they already in the flux. So they lining them up.
Deport. President Trump has now said publicly he didn't do that. And of course, all of this is amid the fallout that we saw from...
So did you hear what she said? What she said? Now listen what she said. And then turn around and listen what Trump said. So now we got to tie it up. Now we tied him
any
up.
of his officials because of the perception of his first term when he was in office, that it was a revolving door.
$200 million.
However, as we reported, we were told that the catalyst for this was essentially this appearance that she made, this hearing in front of the Senate Judiciary Committee, in which she claimed President Trump had signed off on a $200 million.
She said Trump signed off on a $200 million. Now listen, now that's documented. He signed off on a $200 million
campaign that featured her asking illegal immigrants to self-deport. President Trump has now said publicly he didn't do that. And of course,
so what y'all think they was doing with them immigrants, huh? Hunting the immigrants? Was they hunting immigrants too? Was they hunting the immigrants too? Taking their organs and selling their organs? Because allegedly that's why they unalived this big cartel boss. Because he was selling organs and stuff like that. And he had 17 names that was in our United States government allegedly on the list. And that's what they say we went over there and unalived that the Mexican cartel guy. Right. Al Muncho. Yeah, that's why we went over there and got Al Muncho. Oh, did I mention that? Must have left it out.
All of this is amid the fallout that we saw from Minnesota, from Minneapolis.
Now listen what
and there's been pushback on the Hill and from many of President Trump's allies that Kristi Noem was not the right person for the job, but many of them had been careful to walk a very thin line, not getting too far out there. But clearly, we are told now that this hearing put Trump over the edge in terms of his anger factor, and now he has fired Noem, replacing her, with this Oklahoma senator.
So what they need to go back and do is see if Trump really signed off. She already said that Trump signed it off. So somewhere there's proof that Trump signed off. Am I correct, Diamond, in there? It's proof somewhere that he signed off. So now it's going to show that he fired her. Another crime. You see what I'm saying? He fired her because of her behavior, but he's already signed off on it. So what's going to happen? Does anybody know what's going to happen? Hit the like button. Double tap my screen.
All right, Kristen, this is huge news as we are getting this. That Trump is replacing Kristi Noem as DHS secretary and moving her to a special envoy position, which is certainly a demotion and something that is meant to give her a little cover as she is getting ousted here. Kristen, thank you so much. If you could stand by for us there at the White House. Let's go to Priscilla Alvarez, who has been tracking this for us. What are you learning?
Double tap that screen, y'all.
Well, I have been hearing from Homeland Security officials who are stunned. Of course, they had been talking amongst themselves over the last several weeks and months, anticipating that the secretary may be out soon, given a series of missteps that they perceived she had done over the last several weeks. And one of those in particular, or many of those in particular, are stemmed in what happened in Minneapolis. Recall, of course, that surge of federal agents for that immigration enforcement operation where 2 U.S. citizens were fatally shot by federal agents, and it was the secretary who came out in that immediate aftermath.
I can't let you up on a vertical, Diamond.
Terrorists, something that she was grilled on during the congressional hearings this week, but that also shocked Homeland Security officials that she would so quickly draw conclusions over such incidents. And recall, too, that President Trump, in the aftermath of those shootings, had dispatched White House border czar Tom Homan to try to resolve the issues on the ground. It was the most high-profile rebuke over the course of the last year of the secretary and the way that she was managing the department and the immigration enforcement mission. Now, of course, the White House said at the time that she was in lockstep with Tom Homan, but it was also clear internally that there had been long simmering tensions there. So all of this to say that it had been built for some time now, what was happening in the department, the management of the department between her and her chief advisor, Corey Lewandowski, who was serving as a special government employee. There had been multiple concerns from within the department about the way that she was handling things, even most recently when she said that she was suspending TSA PreCheck, and then the department had to reverse that within hours. So this has been just a shock for a lot of Homeland Security officials who, even though they thought the writing was on the wall with her leaving at some point, the fact that it has happened now in the wake of these hearings just has them all scrambling.
Priscilla Alvarez, please stand by. Let's go to Manu Raju, who's live on Capitol Hill. Manu, I promised that at some point I would ask you about the situation with Kristi Noem and these hearings. Clearly, they were disastrous.
Breaking news.
Yeah, and no question about it. And there had been a lack of support for Kristi Noem throughout, and a growing number of Republicans expressing frustration, concern, and actually, frankly, not even saying if they would support her continuing in the job. And no doubt that echoed at the White House, and the President Trump clearly had some of those similar concerns as well. But I want you to listen to what some of the Republicans told me just in the last day about whether they would continue supporting Kristi Noem staying in that job.
Do you have confidence in Secretary Noem?
Time will tell.
Would you vote for her again if you had a chance?
Time will tell.
Do you have confidence in her?
I'm not going to answer that. That's not my decision.
But you voted to confirm her.
That's not my decision. It's the president. That's up to the president. I want to be a team player, and I want to secure the border, and I want to enforce our immigration laws. But I'm tired of trying to explain behavior that is inexplicable to me.
Well, if you had a chance to vote for her again, would you?
I'm not going to answer that, Manu. You can try a thousand.
So the reason why they're not going to answer, they lining them up. There's no need to answer. There is no need to answer. The cookie is crumbling. Do you guys not see that cookie is crumbling? And it started with her because that's where it started from. After Alex Preddy got unalived. After Alex Preddy got unalived, look and see what happened. Look at the cookie crumbling. Next, Kash Patel, Pam Bundy. They already got Bill Gates on the chopping block. It's starting to crumble down. Y'all hit the like button. Double tap that like button.
1,000 times, mate. Lots of luck to you.
Now, Markwayne Mullin almost certainly would get the support of a majority of United States senators to be confirmed as the next Secretary of Homeland Security. The Senate tends to look favorably upon its own. He has served in this body for 3 years. He's a former House member for about 10 years. He's a former mixed martial arts fighter as well. And he's also been a staunch defender of President Trump's agenda. It is unclear exactly when it was informed to Mullin that he would be Donald Trump's pick, because he did speak to reporters at about 12:30 this afternoon. He was asked about these rumors about Trump floating his name as replacement. At that point, he said he had not spoken to Trump.
Put a one in the chat.
And then he went.
Put a one in the chat if you guys see the pattern, how it's going. It started off with her making those dumb statements. Frontline with the news. Then it went from who? Kash Patel. Then Pam Bundy. Need I say more? And it's coming down. It's coming down. And that's the pattern it's going to go.
Who's holed up in the number 2 Senate Republican's office, John Barrasso.
Let's
not
Wexner.
seen for some time. He left the Capitol without commenting, perhaps taking a call from the president at that point. So it's a surprise to many here, and maybe even to Senator Mullin.
Exactly, John. Thank you guys for coming in.
Some fascinating color as Mullin leaves Capitol Hill, potentially taking a call from the president, refusing to comment about Trump considering him for DHS.
Those that just came in, hit the notification bell. We will be going on live this afternoon at 8 o'clock. We got an exclusive one. Bill Clinton is in a hot seat, and we got him exposed big time. Hit the like button, double tap, hit the notification bells. Thank you guys for coming in.
Secretary, and just moments ago, Trump confirming that the new DHS secretary is Senator Mark Wayne Mullen of Oklahoma.
In our national lead, Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem is back on Capitol Hill today, facing bipartisan criticism for her job performance. Yesterday from senators, today from House lawmakers, both often focusing on the aggressive, many would say overly aggressive, immigration crackdown in Minnesota and elsewhere. One Republican senator,
she and her husband, and
particularly harsh assessment.
Look at her husband.
What we've seen is a disaster. Under your leadership, Ms. Noem, we're beginning to get the American people to think that deporting people is wrong. It's the exact opposite. The way you're going about deporting them is wrong. I read your book last week.
Uh-oh.
And honestly, some of the parts of it impressed me, but some of it distresses me. And I'll give you a good example of one that does. The passage where you talk about killing a dog that was 14 months old. You decided to kill that dog because you had not invested the appropriate time in training, and then you have the audacity to go into a book and say it's a leadership lesson about tough choices.
She was following behind her mentor, Trump. Didn't what was his name? Say that Trump was hanging dogs, suffocating dogs, all of that. Sasha Riley. Remember Sasha Riley said Trump was doing that? She taken after her mentor.
And North Carolina Senator Tom Tillis joins me now live in studio. Senator, let me ask you, why bring up the story of her killing Cricket? I mean, I thought it was a bizarre story too, but like, you think it's actually relevant?
I think it's relevant because if you read and I would recommend people do it. I bought the book. She tries to suggest that a 14-month-old dog that's only halfway through what most people who train dogs, particularly for hunting purposes, is necessary to have that dog be reliable.
Exactly.
So she gets angry at a dog that she puts into service long before it should, and then goes and kills it.
Sasha Riley saw Trump do it.
And before that dog is dead, she made a bad decision there. She fielded it too soon without training. Then she goes back to the farm, grabs a family goat, and shoots it.
Yes, I am. I'm talking about Dolph tonight.
That is not.
I'm talking about Dolph tonight, y'all.
So look, the fact that she
I got 2 more lives after this one.
On
going on 3 times today.
Not really understanding that she had put something into a situation it was not ready for, felt a lot like some of the decision making that was done in Minneapolis.
Like calling Renee Good and Alex Preddy domestic terrorists.
Immediately jump into that. So she was rationalizing killing a dog behavior because it didn't perform properly, but she was wrong. She could have had that dog perform properly.
It's all part of the ritual, gang. It's all part of the ritual. It's all part of the ritual. Double tap the screen. Get that like up, y'all. That'll keep this video in the algorithms. Make sure y'all hype this video. Double tap the screen.
And rationalizing that these were terrorists was the expedient. It was the easy way out. I want leaders behind President Trump that do the hard work so that they're preserving the Republican majorities in Congress and the president's legacy. She's far from that.
Well, one of the interesting things about the Preddy and Good situations is that she immediately came out and said things that were false, that we saw on video were not true. And
no credible. And look, the reason why I asked her who Tom Homan reported.
Those people right there, get a good look at their faces. That's where Renee Good, Alex Preddy, that's where it all started, right there. And her face sitting right there in the middle. And now she's out of a job for how she spoke on these people, had no empathy, no remorse for these innocent people that were fighting against what they were doing to the Somalian people, because truly, if you ask me, they was looking for the Ark of the Covenant. But see, that's a little bit above your head, because they hide that Ark of the Covenant, and they was kicking in that door because they know it had powers. See how we got 81 people up in here when I started saying that? Double tap my screen, hit the like button, because they know. See, this is a real spiritual war that's going on right now. And that's why our government is being exposed. Now you see all of the stuff that this government has been doing behind the scenes, the underground tunnels, the children sacrifice. You see how when you make a deal with the devil, he comes and collects.
Too, because I knew the answer. And she said he reports to the president.
Right.
If there is no better example of a vote of no confidence as somebody who was in front when the Preddy incident occurred, and now she, who is the head of Homeland Security is replaced by somebody for a Homeland Security mission who doesn't actually even work for the Secretary of Homeland Security. That's a vote of no confidence, in my opinion, by the president.
So your Republican colleague, Senator Kennedy, was also critical. He was here earlier, and he was specifically critical about a multi-million-dollar ad campaign that DHS ran. And the secretary told him it had been a competitive bid process for the contractors who produced it, and the president had approved of the ad campaign. Democratic Senator Joe Neguse questioned her about the contractor that made these ads, Safe America Media, today. Take a listen.
Double tap that screen, y'all. We got 81 in here. Double tap that screen.
Did your teenager develop depression, anxiety, or eating disorders after becoming addicted to social media?
Mine did.
Where's Safe America Media headquartered? I don't know. I don't know either, Madam Secretary. We can't find it. We can't find a website. The company is registered to a political operative in Virginia. Do you know, just by way of example, whether this company that received $143 million in taxpayer dollars, has it ever done work for the government before? I don't know. I can't. The answer is it has not. And do you know why we know that? Because it was incorporated 8 days before this contract went out. You want the American people to believe that this is all above board?
And we should know one of the other reasons why people are so suspicious of this is one of the subcontractors affiliated with that contract is a company run by the husband of her former spokeswoman, Tricia McLaughlin. What do you make of all this?
Well, look, I mean, let's also, I was sitting right next to John when he was asking the questions, and I don't think people picked up on how proud she was of making any decision over $100,000 in FEMA across her desk and any decision for Homeland Security over $15 million across her desk. How can you go from saying that you scrutinize
38 likes, run it up,
in excess of 15 million,
76 people in the
and
building.
in the same 10
Let's double tap the
period,
screen, y'all.
say, I didn't know any of the details of a $200 million purchase. And this is somebody that is out of her depth and apparently only situationally interested in transactions over 15 million, except when it involves her family members or friends.
So one of the other things you asked for before you ran out of time yesterday, Charlotte's Web. That's the immigration enforcement operation in Charlotte, North Carolina, run by DHS. You have been waiting for more than a month for basic answers from her about this. You're a United States.
She had businesses that wasn't even open. She needs to get out of here. She is exposing being one of the ones to help other than Lex Wexner, because his story, Bill Clinton too. Oh man, it's getting messy out here, y'all.
Senator, did she ever give you answers?
No, even worse than that. An hour. One of the reasons why I was angry is that an hour before, after waiting a month, I was told I wasn't going to get the data. I asked for anonymized data that recorded the incidents, the outcome, whether a person was illegally present or not, were they detained.
Just the oversight responsibility.
Thank you for the lights, you guys.
She says that she's got a world-class law enforcement organization. I could go to a small town in North Carolina and they could produce incident reports immediately for me. So she either doesn't have it or she doesn't like what it's going to say. And my suspicion is that she had a very low success rate. In that hearing, she made it a point to reserve the first few rows with victims of people, family members and survivors, angel families, for people who were harmed by these people that I want deported.
She was no different than Pam Bundy. She just had a different demeanor.
I think because
she just wasn't aggressive
as
Pam Bundy.
Are being apprehended because her and Stephen Miller are more worried about hitting artificial numbers that sound big. But when you dig below the surface, like I want to do with Charlotte's Web, I want to understand what their success rate was. And if they're successful,
we will zap you out of here, out of our chat, if you come with that craziness.
The fact that they're stonewalling makes me really concerned with what I'm going to find. And if I don't get the information by March 19th, then I'm going to hold up more processes that I already am for Homeland Security.
Get him, homeboy. Thank you for the gift, y'all. Thank you for the gift. Only thing different than her.
Never ever sue the driver who crashed into you after a car accident.
That was the only difference.
There's a better way to get compensated. That's
the only difference. That is the only difference. Now let's hear what Midas Touch had to say about it, y'all. Let's hear what Midas Touch got to say We was on here for 43 minutes. We getting ready to smash out. We got 3 lives to do. This is the
Finally,
first.
Democrats going gloves off in a hearing where Department of Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem was testifying under oath before the Judiciary Committee. And finally, Democrats were not holding back, asking her the questions that we, the people, wanted asked.
Exactly.
And she stumbled and she crumbled, and it was a sight to behold. Let me show you what went down as Democratic Congresswoman Dove started cross-examining Kristi Noem about whether she was having sexual relations or is having sexual relations with Corey Lewandowski, who's now
Lewandowski having an affair on the plane. Oh, let's check it out, gang.
Assistant at the Department of Homeland Security, making horrific policies that are so utterly cruel. But apparently, she and Corey Lewandowski are just running around the country in these private jets with beds in the back of them. And finally, a Democrat asked the damn question. Here, play this clip.
Trump knows that this guy is shady. Corey has a decades-long record of physical battery, sexual harassment, illegal lobbying for a Venezuelan oil company, and bringing a loaded gun into a federal building. Despite being fired or removed from virtually every position he has ever held due to misconduct, he now wields unchecked, unconfirmed, undisclosed power over your department. This person has no experience running anything close to Department of Homeland Security or even advising someone in your position. Ooh. He is unqualified, which again has left my constituents and I wondering why he is your top official.
Why is he?
So Secretary Noem, at any time during your tenure as Director of Department of Homeland Security, have you had sexual relations with Corey Lewandowski?
Mr. Chairman, I am shocked that we're going down and peddling.
No, don't be shocked. Because you're shocked. You're going to be shocked when they show you the footage of you doing it. Because for one, they would not ask you the question if they did not have the ties. So instead of you didn't have to admit it, they fired you instead of it. Let's go.
Tabloid garbage in this committee today.
Reclaiming
and ma'am, one thing that I would tell you is that
she asked you a question. She asked you a question because they have you in the clutch already. That's why she asked you the question. Now we're going to ask you the question again and see what you say.
Anytime during your tenure
as
Director of Department of Homeland Security, have you had sexual relations with Corey Lewandowski?
Ask the question. Answer it.
Mr. Chairman, I am shocked that we're going down and peddling tabloid garbage in this committee today.
Reclaiming
and ma'am, one thing that I would tell you is that he is a special government employee who works for the White House. There are thousands of them in the federal government.
So reclaiming
and
my
is an
time,
advisor.
Secretary, it is okay for you to be offended by the question.
It is
okay for you to be
no
offended by
authority
the question.
Making decisions.
It's okay because they know. It's okay because they know.
Oh, a real question.
So what I would say
and
to
you should be able to answer the
what
question.
we do at the Department of Homeland Security every single
and without
day,
any hesitation.
Every single day is to protect.
If someone is asking
to make decisions.
So now we got to get into to the soap opera type of game, right? Because now you really look bad. You should have said no. You got a whole husband sitting back there and you dancing around the question, gang. Look at the people in my chat throwing up them sad faces. You danced around the question. Band-Aid gang. This woman her first question should have been no. What are you talking about? But instead of saying no, what are you talking about? You danced around the question. So doesn't that make her husband's spider senses stick up? Wouldn't you, if your significant other danced around a question like this? Put a 1 in the chat if it would have made you suspicious if your significant other danced around a question like this. Put a 1 in the chat if you would feel some type of way. I would like to see what you guys feel. Or do you let people just walk all over you? I said damn.
Of them in the federal government.
So reclaiming my
an
time,
advisor.
Secretary, it is okay for you to be offended by the question.
Thank you.
It is okay for you to be offended by the question.
Making
but it is
decisions
also a real question.
So what I would say
and you should be able to answer the question.
What we do at the Department of
Homeland Security should be able to answer the question
without any hesitation.
Every single day is to protect.
If someone is asking if you or any federal official is sleeping with their subordinate, that should be the easiest. You should be wanting to answer that question.
Exactly.
Because it
she should be wanting. She should be wanting to answer the question. Now, what you think her husband thinking, gang?
It's about your judgment.
That kind of garbage
It is about reclaiming my time so that I can hear myself.
And Democratic Congressmember Jared Moskowitz says, whoa, let's go back to that question that Congresswoman Kamliger-Dove just asked you. Are you having an affair with Corey Lewandowski? Let us know, because this is not just some salacious detail. Corey Lewandowski is apparently making policy right now that is leading to the American people being terrorized and tortured by ICE.
More words in the chat, exactly.
She does not deny it, and she just starts doing the whole Pam Bondi shtick. Here, play the.
What's up, y'all? I'm Percy Miller, Master P.
Hold on, y'all.
And I want to
called Corey Lewandowski a special government employee. I understand what government means. I understand what employee means. Okay, but I don't know what makes him special. Now, I want to give you an opportunity to answer on the record to Ms. Kamliger-Dove's question. I know you said it's garbage, and it may be, but I really think you need to say the word no into the record so that you can clear that up.
I think the ridiculousness of this and the tabloids that you are quoting and referencing are insane. And this has been something that I've refuted for years, and I continue to do that.
So it's a no.
What I would tell you is
we can move on. Hold on.
What you're doing.
We can move on.
To the ladies in the chat, I don't know what a man, to the ladies in the chat, all the ladies, why is she not answering this question? Put the fellas on some game. I mean, some guys already know what this means, but ladies, teach us something. When a woman is not answering that question like that, what does that mean? Somebody please explain. What's up, Dub Dilla? Somebody explain to the gang what that means. So all of those men in the chat like Dub Dilla and I, we can be, okay, she's protecting the meat. She's protecting the meat, y'all. She protecting the meat. She don't want no flies on the meat. She want the meat nice and tenderized. Okay, she protecting the meat, gang. Okay, we got another answer. We looking for more.
Employee. I understand what government means. I understand what employee means. Okay, but I don't know what makes him special. Now, I want to give you an opportunity to answer on the record to Ms. Kamliger-Dove.
So he probably had some good or bad. So his pocket might have been fat. If she lose her job, right, his pocket fat then. Does that mean his pocket fat? And because if she lose the job and her husband ain't got no money, maybe she can fall back on him, and maybe that's why she's not admitting it. Let's go.
Question. I know you said it's garbage, and it may be, but I really think you need to say the word no into the record so that you can clear that up.
I think the ridiculousness of this and the tabloids that you are quoting and referencing are insane. And this has been something that I've refuted for years, and I continue to do that.
So it's a no.
What I would tell you is,
we can move on. Hold on.
What you're doing,
we can move on. I'm not going to belabor it.
This is what you do.
Hold on.
Socialist,
I'm not doing anything.
Liberal left is you go off and you attack conservative women, and you say that we're either stupid
or
we're sluts.
All right, so listen.
And that's what you do.
Yesterday, Richard, reclaiming my time, Mr. Chairman, reclaiming my time. You were asked by Richard Blumenthal yesterday. You were asked by Richard Blumenthal yesterday if Corey was involved in approving contracts. You said no. Do you want to correct that?
What I would say is that he has an advisor to the Department of Homeland Security, has no decision-making authority.
Do you want to correct it? Yes or no? You don't want to correct it? Fine.
Decision-making authority, no role in
not a problem. According to one of the female administrators that you fired, there is nothing, including contracts, that is brought to you that he hasn't reviewed. In fact, a significant amount of DHS internal routing documents has his signature on it above deputy secretaries. Okay, that former female administrator wasn't fired by you, the secretary. He was fired by Corey. It was Corey that called him into your office. It was Corey that made him submit to a polygraph test. The $100,000 spending rule that you created that comes to your desk, you're not even sitting at your desk. It's Corey who's sitting there. ISIS said the Republicans should be happy at the job that you're doing. Really? You're looking at the person who single-handedly took the president's signature core issue, immigration.
Embarrassing. You're right, truth be told.
From 59% to 39%. 200 miles of border walls being held up by you. They had to bring in Tom Homeland, pull out of Minnesota. I think the country needs a national divorce from you on biblical grounds. Woo! I mean, if Donald Trump was still Apprentice Trump, he would look at you and he would realize you're the weakest cabinet member and he would fire you. And if the president said to you that only way DHS could reopen is if you resigned, I hope you would take him up on it. Now, I want to end on a happy note, Mr. Chairman, real quickly. The president gave all sorts of stuff out during the State of the Union. I don't want you to leave. I got you a new Coast Guard blankie, the one you lost. Okay, so this is for you. You don't leave empty-handed when you come to judiciary. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
The gentleman has expired. The gentleman from Missouri is recognized.
By the way, you see Kristi Noem's husband visible behind her while Congressmember Raskin was asking those questions. Congressmember Swalwell says, has anyone been fired at DHS? Like anybody from ICE or Border Patrol? Have you fired a single one of these Gestapo who have hurt people? Anyone, just one. Name one. Here, play this clip.
Tell me then, has a single ICE agent or CBP officer, been disciplined since you've been Secretary of Homeland Security? As we've seen women dragged through their streets by their hair and thrown into unmarked cars, people chased through the fields and factories where they work, public executions happening in our streets. Has a single ICE agent or CBP officer been disciplined?
Yes, they have.
How many?
I don't know the number. I can get that for you.
Do you think that number is important?
Now you need to get out. Get out of office.
And smart, and what we're doing is accurate according to the law by doing those internal investigations through the process that's set up. There's an Office of Professional Responsibility that does the investigation, and decisions are brought before the National Use of Force Board, and they review each incident as objectively outside of that law enforcement encounter, and then give a decision for it.
Has anyone been fired? Has anyone lost their job?
We got 86 people up in here. Double
I'm
tap
not
that
asking if it
screen,
could be. I'm
y'all.
asking, has
Double
anyone
tap that
been
screen.
fired?
I'm certain that they have. That happens once in a while when there is a need for someone to be
For conduct related to enforcement actions.
We hold our law enforcement officers accountable, and are
Not yet, but as I see what you said, has any person been charged with any for taxpayers fraud in Minneapolis? Nah, but hey, it's gonna be all over the United States if they don't stop playing with us. That we need to get we need to get them up out of here. Out of here, and they're gonna go. They knocking, the cookie is crumbling, everybody. Remember, what she did to Alex Pretty is all tumbling down.
grateful that they serve, that they put their lives on the line, and also recognize that when these situations
But you ain't hearing from me, though.
And the legality of the course to how they interact with the public.
More from Congressmember Moskowitz right here, who brought Kristi Noem a blankie. And just in case you're wondering what's the blankie, apparently she and Corey Lewandowski fired a Coast Guard pilot because he forgot to give them the blankie that they were like cuddling in, and people were like,
And they
"Are you
had it
hiding
on
some
camera?
other stuff in this blankie? What the hell is the blankie about?" And then they realized that they didn't have a pilot because they fired the Coast Guard pilot.
Diamond said, yes, there was arrest in Minnesota for the tax fraud. So Diamond, you know she on top of it. So Diamond said, yes, there was arrest, James. So there has been arrests.
Over blankie, so they had to hire the Coast Guard pilot back. Watch Congressman Moskowitz ask the damn question. Here, play this clip.
200 miles of border walls being held up by you. They had to bring in Tom Homeland, pull out of Minnesota. I think the country needs a national divorce from you on biblical grounds. I mean, if Donald Trump was still apprentice Trump, he would look at you and he would realize you're the weakest cabinet member, and he would fire you. And if the president said to you that only way DHS could reopen is if you resigned, I hope you would take him up on it. Now, I want to end on a happy note, Mr. Chairman, real quickly. The president gave all sorts of stuff out during the State of the Union. I don't want you to leave. I got you a new Coast Guard blankie, the one you lost. Okay, so this is for you. You don't leave empty-handed when you come to judiciary.
More from Congressman Moskowitz right here. Let's play it.
Your desk. It's Corey who's sitting there. ISIS said the Republicans should be happy at the job that you're doing. Really? You're looking at the person who single-handedly took the president's signature core issue, immigration, the issue that got him elected from 59% to 39%. 200 miles of border walls being held up by you. They had to bring in Tom Homeland, pull out of Minnesota. I think the country needs a national divorce from you on biblical grounds. I mean, if Donald Trump was still apprentice Trump, he would look at you and he would realize you're the weakest cabinet member, and he would fire you. And if the president said to you that only way DHS could reopen is if you resigned, I hope you would take him up on it. Now, I want to end on a happy note, Mr. Chairman, real quickly. The president gave all sorts of stuff out during the State of the Union. I don't want you to leave. I got you a new Coast Guard blankie, the one you lost. Okay, so this is for you.
And it's
You
the
don't leave
Auburn
empty-handed when you
colors.
come
I
to
think
judiciary. Thank you, Mr.
The
Chairman.
gentleman has expired. The gentleman from
Then Democratic Congressmember Jamie Raskin got to ask his questions, and he, like the lawyer he is, boom, boom, boom. Here, play this clip.
But only a few hours after they were gunned down by your agents, you called Renee a domestic terrorist. You said Alex committed an act of domestic terrorism. Alex's parents responded to your calling their son a domestic terrorist. They said the sickening lies told about our son by the administration are reprehensible and disgusting. And I want to give you a chance before the entire country to correct your false
we got 102
defamatory
people. Let's
claim.
go. We need to match them.
Based
we
on
need to
what
double tap
you
that
know
screen, y'all.
today, Madam Secretary, were Renee Good and Alex Preddy domestic terrorists?
They letting us back in the algorithms. Let's go, y'all. Double tap that screen.
Those two incidents was an absolute tragedy.
Were they domestic
I'm
terrorists?
working hard to
as you
get back
said
up
to
on
the
my
country?
algorithms, getting my numbers back up. Thank you,
Because I
guys.
know that their lives will never be the same after that happens.
Is that an apology for what you said?
We, in those instances, offer as much information as we can from officers and agents on the ground
Hey,
in a
Miss
chaotic
Liz.
scene that gets.
I'll repeat my question, reclaiming my time. Based on what you know today, Madam Secretary, based on what you know today, were Renee Good and Alex Preddy domestic terrorists?
Answer the
As
question.
you know, there's ongoing investigations that are being led by.
But you didn't wait for the investigation.
So why didn't she just want to answer a simple question? Just say no. These are the things that got you in the clutch and got you fired.
And did you? You didn't wait for the evidence. You proclaimed that they were domestic terrorists at the time. Why did you do that?
And you didn't wait to attack our law enforcement.
Why did you do that?
We're going into a dangerous
Why
situation.
did you call them domestic terrorists?
Our ICE officers and our HSI officers that day risked their lives to protect that scene, so evidence could be reclaimed, so it could be used in the investigation.
But why did you call them a domestic terrorist?
Proud of the fact that you called them domestic terrorists? Is that what you're telling America?
HSI officers put their lives on the line to protect that scene, so evidence so we could have.
Yes, they do. Yes, they do. But you told a lie about them. You said that they were domestic terrorists. Do you regret that?
I offer my condolences to those family and
Based on what you know today, were Renee Good and Alex Preddy domestic terrorists?
It's ongoing investigations, and so
So you still don't know. You think that's an open question?
I would think you would want there to still be investigations going into these situations.
Well, you stated the conclusion 2 hours after they were killed that they were domestic terrorists. I wanted to give you an opportunity to correct the
We got
record.
105 people in here. Y'all double tap that screen, y'all.
Believes in the truth and fairness and honesty.
In every situation, as facts come out, we relay.
You know, your acting ICE director, Todd Lyons, came before Congress. He said he had no knowledge whatsoever that Alex Preddy and Renee Good were domestic terrorists. None. This is your guy. He said that.
More from Jamie Raskin right here.
Let's
Let's
go.
play it.
He admitted that that was wrong. Why won't you admit it?
We'll tell you the investigation's still ongoing, and we'll.
So do you regret speaking before the investigation?
I would say that in those situations,
You regret that?
chaotic scene on the ground, we relay information to the American people that they're asking for. And as the things change, situations change.
People were asking you whether they were domestic terrorists?
We
And you
continue to
decided that they were before the investigation?
Exactly.
As we learn more, we.
You don't want to say anything to their families?
I did. I said condolences.
For what?
I'm
How about an apology for what you said about
Why not
their
sorry?
loved ones?
Why not
It is
just
with them.
sorry?
We will
Your
continue to stand with
condolences.
them as they get a complete investigation into these situations.
All right.
And also Congressmember Nagoose, also a lawyer who's a stellar
Dragging her.
cross-examiner. Watch his cross-examination
Watch
of
him
Kristi
drag
Noem.
her,
This
y'all.
is how it's done. Here, play this clip.
Watch him drag her, y'all.
Madam Secretary, I'll read from the notice from your agency. Given the immediate action to significantly reduce illegal immigration and border crossings, DHS identified 4 companies. 4 of the hundreds of thousands of companies in the United States. You identified 4. One of those is this Safe America Media company. Where's Safe America Media headquartered?
I don't know.
I don't know either, Madam Secretary. We can't find it. We can't find a website. We did find an address that's registered for this company.
You see the money laundering? You see where the money laundering coming in? Oh, we so in debt, America. Look how much money they've been robbing us for. And this has been happening for decades. This ain't nothing new. This is a pattern. See, they've been so many times our government has done this with different presidents in office, but now it has been exposed. So stop going gun-ho for all these people, because you got some good apples and you got some bad apples in a bunch. But this is not the Republican or the Democratical channel, because this is justice. That's what it's about. Fairness when you come to this channel. Let's go, gang.
Where that address is?
Is there a problem with this contract?
I'll tell
Because
you
it was
about
done
it.
according to
Madam
law.
Secretary,
It
the
was done by
address is
officials.
registered to a
It
political
was
operative.
dollars that
Money
were
laundering.
Madam Secretary, the company, and then I'll give you an opportunity to respond. The company is registered to a political operative in Virginia. Do you know, just by way of example, whether this company that received $143 million in taxpayer dollars, has it ever...
Donald Trump at this point need to be snatched by his coattail and brought in. He signed off for $200 million, then turned around and fired this woman. So he's in on it. So now it's his word against hers? Come on, gang. Snatch him by his coattail and put him on the chopping block.
Done work for the government before?
I don't know. I can't.
The answer is it has not. And do you know why we know that? Because it was incorporated 8 days. 8 days before this contract went out. You want the American people to believe that this is all above board? That $143 million of taxpayer money just happened to go to this one company that doesn't have a headquarters, doesn't have a website, has never done work for the federal government before, and is registered apparently or attached to a residence from a political operative. And of course, one of the subcontractors of that contract, as you know, is a political firm that's tied to you back when you were governor of South Dakota. The reason why I ask these questions,
tell them,
is that this is taxpayer money.
Taxpayer money.
And I presume, I don't know this for a fact, but Senator Tillis noted yesterday.
Before you slow people, did you hear what he said? Just a minute. This is taxpayer money, gang. And she worked for who? She worked for who? Double tap my screen. We ain't got to live like this, America. We don't have to live like this, people. Look at the people that are taking your taxpayer money, buying yachts, decorating the yacht, gang. They decorating the yacht with big flat screen TVs and all that, gang. Did y'all listen? What she was doing? I said, damn.
The way in which your agency is blocking the Inspector General from 11 different investigations that it is trying to conduct. I don't know if this happens to be one of them. I certainly hope it is, because eventually the facts will become public in this regard.
Exactly.
And now I'll show you Congresswoman Ross. Here
Please double tap the screen. Let's get it up to 60 likes, y'all.
Public schools, EMS, other public services, healthcare, and everything else. And I have met with some of the county executives who have struggled with their budgets while recovering from Helene. These delays in paying out this desperately needed recovery funds are simply unacceptable. And you heard that from my Republican senator, Senator Tillis, yesterday. Your new policy, and it is a new policy, requiring your personal sign-off on expenditures over $100,000 has contributed to many of these delays, creating a bottleneck, blocking reimbursement for hundreds of millions of dollars of disaster funding that stand directly between North Carolinians and that relief.
Thank you guys for the likes. I appreciate it.
Senator Tillis, as I'm sure you remember, lambasted you and the failure of your department in dispersing these funds. And then magically about $80 million got released today, for which we're thankful. But we shouldn't have to have a U.S. senator or a representative or another representative come.
$80 million is a lot of money. But think about it. She took $200 million, not $80 million. $200 million of America's taxpayers' dollars.
To you directly, to get you to do your job. But we also know that you had time to sign off on the purchase of 2 luxury private Gulfstream jets for your personal travel, $170 million. And we've heard about the new Boeing 737 that you're in the process of outfitting. Evidently, you were satisfied that there was no fraud, waste, and abuse involved in the jets. But meanwhile,
121 people up in here, please double tap the screen.
Whether you found any fraud, waste, or abuse in these North Carolina expenditures?
You know, Congresswoman, what I would tell you is that Joe Biden failed North Carolina.
Listen to me. I asked you a direct question. Joe Biden provided greater relief. Joe Biden showed up. Joe Biden didn't lie about what was going on in the ground. I don't even want to get into what Donald Trump did during the campaign, the misinformation that was put out there. And you cannot find the time until my senator berates you in public to approve this money. Individual members of Congress should not have to come to you. Our counties, our struggling counties in the western part of the state, are some of the most rural counties.
Insane.
They are poor counties. They do not have the money to front for you.
In the months that we have been here,
Let's go back to Congressmember Neguse for a second right here.
Let's do it, Midas.
As I understand it, this is a $220 million ad campaign. It's split between two contractors. One of those contractors got $143 million. That contractor is called Safe America Media, correct?
Correct.
Okay. That company is affiliated with a former political director of the National Republican Congressional Committee. Now, yesterday you testified, I think I'm quoting you right, you said, quote, or in reference to this contract, that, quote, it went out to a competitive bid. Do you stand by that statement?
It was a no bid contract where two vendors were.
It was a no bid
chosen.
contract.
If it would have been a no bid contract, if I'm using that correctly, it goes out to two different vendors.
Correct. So it was not a competitive. Let me try to explain what the discrepancy, because a competitive bid is very different than a no competitive bid, and I'll just explain why. We know that your testimony yesterday, when you said, again, I'll quote, it went out to a competitive bid, is untrue. The reason we know it's untrue is because under federal law, your agency is required,
somebody zap him,
whenever the agency decides to skip competitive bidding, to file a notice.
Watch your language. Thank you for zapping him.
And in this case, your agency filed a notice.
Zap Mac,
justification and approval for other than full and open competition.
Somebody zap
your
Mac
agency made a decision not to proceed with competitive bidding.
Put a Band-Aid on him.
One of the contractors that got the award was this Safe America Media Company that received $143 million.
What about Congressmember Ted Lieu? His cross-examination was pretty solid.
Thank you for the 70 likes, y'all.
Now I'm going to show you another picture. It's of Amalia, who is a toddler that ICE also detained. Let me ask you, did
look at the baby,
Amalia commit a crime?
No, she did not. She is with her family.
Right. And the reason she's with her family is because she almost died in ICE
Thank you, Nurse 59.
until folks brought a lawsuit forcing the release of Amalia.
And Congresswoman Crockett, who had an incredible, I thought her response after losing in Texas was humble and was a beautiful statement that she made. And boom, she's out there working again. She's ready to go. Watch Congresswoman Crockett cross-examine Kristi Noem and say, "Are you even a lawyer?" And Noem's like, "No." Here.
Double tap, y'all.
Oh, look, I'm getting a call from one of those unknown numbers.
Have you tried reverse phone?
This line of y'all breaking the law. Are you familiar with a child by the name of Liam Ramos?
I am.
All right, so Liam was at this Dilley facility, and it just so happened that we had put in our 7 days notice, and y'all had grabbed him 6 days prior to our visit. So we were able to go and visit Liam.
I know, right, Mike?
Are you aware of the court order?
Make sure you subscribe. We got another live coming on tonight.
Liam from custody?
So everybody tap in. We're going on tonight.
And are you aware
121
that the judge
people.
said
Pay attention to my timeline, subscribe and hit the notification bell. We got another exclusive tonight. We got Bill Clinton in the clutch right now.
Apparently, even if it requires traumatizing children.
Last little piece I got to tell you before I go in here. Bill Clinton, let me tell you this I'm about to expose tonight. Bill Clinton's lawyer, yeah, the black lady, Cheryl. Her name is Cheryl. I forget her last name. Cheryl Mills, I think. It's in the Epstein files. Breaking news.
For the name of Liam Ramos.
I am.
All right, so Liam was at this Dilley facility, and it just so happened that we had put in our 7 days notice, and y'all had grabbed him 6 days prior to our visit. So we were able to go and visit Liam. Are you aware of the court order that came down that released Liam from custody?
I am.
And are you aware that the judge said the case has its genesis in an ill-conceived and incompetently implemented government pursuit of daily deportation quotas, apparently even if it requires traumatizing children. This court and others regularly send undocumented people to prison and orders them deported, but do so by proper legal procedures. Are you aware of that?
Yes, and I would disagree with the judge on several
points. I'm sure you would, but can you tell me whether or not you have a law degree?
Father chose to.
Can you tell me whether or not you have a law degree?
If I have what?
A law degree.
No, I do not have
a law
degree.
And you do understand, because I can go through a bunch of court cases and orders that I disagree with from the Supreme Court, that ultimately that is the order of the court. That is what you follow. And if you have an issue, you appeal it up, correct?
That is correct.
Okay. The court went on to say, apparent also is the government's ignorance of an American historical document called the Declaration of Independence. 33-year-old Thomas Jefferson enumerated grievances against a would-be authoritarian king over his nascent
Make sure you double tap the
nation.
screen if you just came in. Let's keep the
He
video
has
in the
sent
algorithms.
hither
Double tap the
swarms of
screen. Thank you guys for
officers
coming.
to harass
Make sure you
our
hit the
people.
notification
He has
bell for
excited
tonight's show.
domestic insurrection among us, for quartering large bodies of armed troops among us. He has kept us among, in times of peace, standing armies without the consent of our legislatures. Are you aware that he wrote that? Do you know that he was writing about ICE that falls under you?
The judge?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. With that, I will yield, but I do have 2 UCs.
Then Congresswoman Ballant says, you know what, Kristi?
This is going to be our last clip that comes up right now.
You think all of this is funny? But at the end of the day, you don't have immunity. And we're all going to remember all of the things that you did. So don't think for a second that you're going to skirt responsibility here.
Bingo.
Let's watch this. Let's play it.
When you look at what the court said in the ouster case, it said the court rejects this testimony from ICE's leadership as disingenuous, as squalid, and dishonorable. So we have a federal judge who has rejected testimony from ICE's leadership because it wasn't true. So the head of ICE, Acting Director Todd Lyons, lied in sworn testimony. Has he been fired?
No, Todd Lyons is a good man who has
Have there been
spent
any,
decades-
Secretary Noem, have there been any consequences? Has there been any consequences for him lying to a federal judge? That's what I want to know. Are there any consequences for someone under your leadership
common knowledge. They
lying?
have activist judges out there throwing opinions.
So you have
out
said
that are not based
repeatedly,
on law.
again, I just want to bring us back to my question. You have said that we are a nation of laws.
Yes.
Nobody is above the law. You are not above the law. Todd Lyons is not above the
You
law.
believe that,
No
that
one
every
working
person
for
who's
you,
in this country
nobody
illegally
working for you
should be
is
held
above the
accountable
law.
for breaking
So I want to say this, Secretary Noem, it is shocking to Americans right now to see that you can sit in front of this committee and continue to cover for people who are working under you. You're in charge now. This is your DHS. The buck stops with you. The fact that you have people working under you that are lying to federal judges and that you're not going to take responsibility for that and hold them accountable to that is shocking. And I think Americans deserve so much better than that. And your employees have regularly ignored court orders and lied to judges. Now you're covering up. And I just want to say, this conduct alone is impeachable. And I want you to know that Americans will get accountability for the damage that you have done, for the lawlessness of aspects of DHS, for killing innocent Americans, for terrorizing children. They will get accountability. And you are the Secretary of DHS for now. And you think you're immune from accountability. But I promise you this, one day, he is not going to be president anymore. He is not going to be in charge. And when that day comes, we will still be here. And we will still be seeking accountability. And in hearings like this, we are going to continue to prove your guilt.
And finally, here was Congressmember Raskin.
The person who invented this
Oh
cleaning
my
product
God!
is so
Sure, what
smart.
she
No
saying?
matter how dirty your oven is,
Y'all hear
it will
what she
instantly
saying?
clean with zero script. Pairing into Kristi Noem. Let's play it.
Taxpayer funds to lease a third jet, a $70 million luxury 737.
Now this is important. Listen to what your money went to. Listen to what your money went to, Band-Aid gang. Double tap the screen. This is the last one before we get ready to go out. Listen to what your money went to. Make sure we got 142 in the building right now. I would love to see y'all around 8 o'clock. I got an exclusive It's going to be a whole different dynamic. It's going to go stronger than this one, y'all. All lined up, very exclusive. Then we got Dolph later on tonight. If I don't get Dolph on the late night tonight, he will be first thing tomorrow in the afternoon. But I have to get this one. Bill Clinton is on the chopping block. Make sure you guys tap in. Double tap that screen, you guys. Hit your notification bells so you know when we go on and pay attention to my community post. Thank you, guys. This is where your money went.
There was Congress member Raskin tearing into Kristi Noem. Let's play it.
Taxpayer funds to lease a third jet, a $70 million luxury 737 MAX with a queen size.
$70 million. And this is, look, gang. They put a picture in the background, right? The girl stood up in the background to show you what the jet looked like in the inside. Double tap the screen, y'all, to show you the jet. Look, it's where your money went. Plus $200 million. Let's go.
Bedroom in the back, a deluxe serving bar, and 4 flat screen TVs. A big, beautiful jet paid for by the big, beautiful Bill.
Woo!
Yesterday, under questioning the Senate, you said you plan to refurbish this jet to make it into this kind of airplane.
It didn't look
good
enough.
Which is what's actually being used for deportations in order to save the taxpayers' money.
Oh, yeah, deportations? In order to save the taxpayer money? Or was it another one of them Epstein planes where they was doing all the fiddling and diddling on? Is that what they was doing all? Was it going to be another Epstein fiddling, diddling plane where they do the fiddle and diddle with them kids and all of that? I said, damn.
In other words, you're saying that's actually a deportation plane, but wouldn't it have been cheaper just to buy a deportation plane in the first place?
Hold on, gang, this looks like a making love plane.
In other words, you're saying that's actually a
That look like a making love plane right there. Look at the inside. That make love. You make love. Look at the plane, gang. You make love in there. What they were finna do up in there, gang? What was they finna do in it? Look. They making love. Look at the bed. That's a making love plane. I'm getting Epstein vibes. I'm getting Bill Clinton vibes off of this, gang. I'm getting Bill Gates vibes off of this, gang. Hit the like button, double tap the screen. Let's go. What's going on in here, man? Look at the bed, gang. That bed look better than my bed. I said, damn, look at that. That's what they doing with your money. That's what they doing with your money, gang. Taxpayers, that's what they doing with the country broke. But the country broke. And y'all flying coach, right? Y'all get in here. That's what they doing with your money. We take this shit serious over here on the Band-Aid Gang channel.
Plane, but wouldn't it have been cheaper just to buy a deportation plane in the first place?
Exactly.
It's like buying a Rolls Royce to turn into a Metro bus. I was almost prepared to buy that story of how the jet was both for executive travel and mass deportation. And then I heard about an airborne episode.
Keith, I'm going to go back to Sasha Riley. Sasha Riley is in the chopping. Sasha Riley has his place on this channel. We did a little bit, me and Diamond Gang, but we will be touching back on Sasha Riley as the dominoes fall. See, when we move when they fall correctly. See, we doing it the way it's supposed to be done. Don't forget, do not forget, when I drop this stuff on Clinton, right? Don't forget who's next. Bill Gates coming. Bill Gates is coming. He got to get on the stand. Lex Wexner got to get on the stand. I mean, not Lex Wexner, Howard Lutnick. Did I mention that he got to go too? Band-Aid Gang and Pam Bundy. Pam Bundy. Look how the dominoes are falling, y'all. Look how the dominoes is falling, y'all. Double tap the screen. Look at my look at the chat. There's a link in the chat to Diamond Gang's channel. She's super when it comes to the political game. She just started her channel. I would appreciate it. We got 87 in the building. Hit that link. She's usually on my platform with me. She's growing. She got the mouthpiece for this, y'all. I just rock a show different than her, but she's part of my panel. Thank you guys very much. And we will be covering Sasha Riley because his story it ties in with everything. So he was not lying. He was totally honest. Don't no man tell those type of stories of what happened to him, being a male, being done like that. So this is real. We want justice.
Of entitlement, arrogance, and contempt that I could hardly believe. Apparently, when your special blanket, your blankie, was left on one of the government jets and not transported over the new one, your special government employee, Corey Lewandowski, chivalrously stepped forward to fire the pilot mid-air, a 2003 Coast Guard Academy graduate and distinguished U.S. Coast Guard commander in Air Station, Washington, D.C. But then he had to be rehired immediately because there was no one else who could fly the two of you on the rest of the journey back home. Secretary Noem, you're flying high now, maybe even a little bit too close to the sun. But with all these free planes and houses and pilots, you've traveled a long distance from your actual job and the things you should be doing as head of Homeland Security. Your agency is charged with protecting the homeland. It includes FEMA, TSA, the Secret Service, the Coast Guard, the Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency, as well as ICE and CBP. Yet you've hollowed out the national security mission. You redeployed thousands of people responsible for tracking terror financing and fighting cyber threats to go work on your mass immigration roundup. You reassigned to the roundup agents working a key national security probe into Iran's terror financing, paralyzing that investigation. And to run what's left of Homeland Security's ruined terrorism prevention office, you actually installed a 22-year-old intern whose chief listed qualification for the job was that he had participated in a model UN club his junior year of college. Through FEMA, you're supposed to provide disaster relief to our communities. Yet last summer, as floods devastated central Texas and killed 135 people, including 25 girls and 2 counselors at a Christian summer camp, you withheld crucial support.
There you have it, folks. Let me know what you think.
There you have it, folks. Thank you guys for coming in. Make sure you guys subscribe to Diamond Gang's channel, you guys. We get her up to 50 subscribers to her channel, gang. She can go live. And then she can really cut up, gang. So I want to thank everybody for showing up today and really tapping in with us. We got up to 100 and some people, them 87 likes. Please double tap the screen right now before we get ready to close out so we can keep our video into the algorithms. I want to thank you guys for coming through. I'm C-Dub, Mr. I ain't said a word, but you know what I'm saying. I said damn. Make sure you guys also hit your notification bell so you can definitely get an alert that when we go on today that you guys can make it into the live. I would love to see each and every one of you guys in that live. So, you know, I appreciate the love, the likes, and the kindness, and you feel free to say what you want to in the chat, gang. Just be respectful. That's all we ask. We don't care what you have to say. If you represent your party, so be it. But just be respectful in our chat, and that's all we ask. I want to thank you guys. I know it's hard out here, but remember, we all going through this same thing together, and it's called life. Be glad that you're above the ground instead of under it. And with that being said, smash that like button and C-Dub and the Real Angel, and we are the Band-Aid Gang. Thank you guys for tuning in. We'll see you later on this afternoon. Thank you, Nurse 59, for keeping the Band-Aids in the pack and making sure you be wrapping these people up in my chat. Thank you guys, all my mods. We love you. Diamond Gang, Band-Aid Gang, and we out. Peace.
Bye.